Push record.
Yeah, it's red.
How do we do it again, bro?
Yeah, you did your 2 clap. You said, what's up?
Yeah.
I'll bring my harmonica next time.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Bosa Bros podcast.
Just a couple bros down Bosa.
Just a couple bros. There's a couple bros down Bosa. What's up, Brian? How you been doing? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Oops. I'm doing good, man. Trying to be producer and also host. Producer, mixer.
Everything.
All right. So, Brian, recently you went to a conference, right? What was the conference about?
Yeah, so pretty much work with a lot of different lenders. One of the biggest partners we have is called Rocket Mortgage. Basically, they were...
Rocket Mortgage is huge.
Rocket Mortgage is huge.
Isn't the number one mortgage?
Yeah,
company?
Basically they've been number one for a long time, and just recently they've kind of been overthrown. So they're number 2 right now, but pretty much nationwide. If you want to go for your conventional loan, right? Like, so basically there's different type of loans when you are trying to get a home. You're usually going to get a quote from them. They've gotten really big over the last few decades, just really through their booming mortgage industry and portfolio of other companies. It was really cool. Basically, they hold what's called like an all-access event where they invite their broker partners to come out and basically learn more about the industry, get some more product training, some product knowledge, and really just network with your peers and realtors and other folks that are in the industry making moves. So no, great time. It was awesome. It was completely comped, so my flight was covered, my room, everything. Just got to show up, be present.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. So who, your mortgage company comped it?
No, so I am through a broker, Loan Factory. That's the group I went with. But Rocket Mortgage, the lender, their wholesale channel, basically invites loan officers, realtors to come out and really just, essentially it's to earn your business, win your business, have you submit files to them so they could be the ones that really service the loan and make it happen. So yeah, there was like over 400 people. So if you could just imagine, they have these events like usually 5 to 6 times a year. And yeah, it's sick. One day is just dedicated to really learning more about the company, taking courses on, how to improve your business, your book of business. And then from there, the second day you do like a tour of Detroit or a tour of their properties. Dan Gilbert, he's the one that one of the founders of, Quicken Loans, which became Rocket
Quicken Loans
Mortgage.
Arena in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Dan Gilbert. That's Dan Gilbert.
I don't know if I sent you, but like on one of their highest floors, they cut out a replica half court of the Cleveland Cavaliers court. And then basically, it had like the year they won in 2016, it just had like the final score, had all this stuff. And we're just shooting hoops on like the 55th floor. So that was kind of cool.
And how's that hoop? Is it official tempered glass,
Bro,
full regulation basketball?
I was breaking it. Cause like, yeah, no. And I was like, cause like I met one of my buddies and I was like, oh yeah, ball here and there, just kind of like take the elbow shot or like I'll hit some jumpers, but nothing crazy. Then he saw me taking shots. He's like, dude, you don't ball, bro. I'm like, dude, I swear, I'm like, there's something different about this court. And then like the more I looked at it, this other guy was just like, yo, this is real. Like, see, like you're probably breaking it because like the rims you're used to and the backboards, they're easy. Like at the 24s or whatever at the park. He's like, but this is like a real single rim, like just everything's like to the T. So your shot has to be money. Like you cannot be like, getting that lucky bounce or whatever. So that was like an eye opener. I was like, oh shoot, I got to work on my game.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So to this show is gonna be about money. We're talking about money.
Oh
okay?
yeah.
Let's talk about the economy. What's going on?
Sure.
What did they talk about at the conference when they came?
Yeah. So I mean, it's the obvious, right? Basically, we've been living in a high inflationary environment globally. throughout the whole world. Ever since COVID, with all the money printing and increase of, inputs. So things are a lot more expensive now, like obviously you go to the grocery store, that bill's going to be a lot higher, right? The cost of labor is higher, right? It costs more to hire employees, etc. Home prices have skyrocketed.
Let's be clear though. What is the cause of inflation?
Yeah, I mean,
You want to go at it, and I'll have a go at it.
I mean, a lot of people are gonna blame what's on paper, the basics, right? Too much printing, too much borrowing, a separate system, the Federal Reserve constantly being able to print unlimited money, just like debt servicers, like there's a very like it's very technical, right? But I think it's just, dude, it's competition, it's greed. It creates this pressure on the value of money, and yeah, the only solution usually is just to make more. Yeah.
Well, okay, so inflation, I believe, is caused strictly by money printing and spreading that money around. Okay, so once you print the money, that basically debases the currency. Each dollar is worth less. Each dollar can buy less. Because let's say if the Federal Reserve prints $1 trillion and they spread it across the country, well, that increases demand for products and services. Right. Because more people have money. Think about COVID. Everyone had an extra $1,400 in their mailbox. So with that extra $1,400, that creates more demand for goods. So people went out and they bought Gucci flip-flops, Louis bags. They just took that money and bought more things, which increased demand, but nothing about the supply went up. If anything, supply went down because of COVID. So it's simple supply and demand. So when the demand goes up and the supply stays the same, the only thing that will happen is that prices will go up to meet that demand because through the supply.
Right.
So that is how inflation happens. I don't think it's any other way other than us printing money or being able to print money. So go on.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously that's the basic principle of it, right? When you're flooding value or there's a surplus in supply, then of course.
So yeah, I don't think. Look, when people talk about corporate greed, that is not why prices go up. The reason why prices go up is because these corporations, they have to fight inflation, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you do not increase your prices every year, and inflation is at a minimum 2%, every year, if you do not raise your prices, you're getting poorer.
I think it depends, right? Like there is corporate greed in certain industries for sure. There's a lot of there's in mortgages is pretty crazy. So like at the end of the day, how do banks make money? How do lenders make money? It's the interest, right? It's originating that loan and creating basically a financial contract with the consumer. And that interest is how they make their money. But they also make their money through different investors, mortgage-backed securities. They really package everything up. There's a lot going on in the back end. Now, as you just keep getting bigger as a company, you're going to get taxed more. You're going to find different ways, tax mitigation strategies to really just, reduce your taxes and be more efficient. And what happens is it's business. You're competing. You got to get competitive. And every quarter, especially if you become publicly traded, like you enter the markets, on the exchange, you're no longer just working privately and for, your group of investors and people. You're working for the masses, right? So you really have to maximize profits, and a lot of ways to do that. It could get pretty nasty, right? Like certain things you got to do, you got to lean out the team sometimes to like really be more effective with your use of your money and all that fun stuff. I mean, there's a whole thing to it, but
no, it's true because as a corporation, and especially you have shareholders, you have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure their investment goes right and goes up. So yes, I do understand in that sense corporate greed that they that they're always looking for to increase the bottom line.
But when okay, let's just keep it simple. Like talking about inflation though, the baseline, like the basics of it, yeah, dude. Like too much printing and just like flooding that currency, like of course it's gonna lose its value. So what we talked about at the conference, you know, unless you've been living under a rock or you don't pay rent or you don't have a mortgage, the cost of the affordability, home ownership and like being able to afford a home has skyrocketed. And it's kind of like an illusion, right? Whatever the media tries to portray it, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we have a shortage of homes being built, right? That's what they'll say. They'll try to create this like pressure to like, you know, for people to get active, apply, generate applications, blah, blah, blah. Increase the numbers on the home sales data that comes out every month. But in actuality, I mean, there's actually a lot of new construction homes throughout America. There's a lot of builders building like constantly. It's slowed down quite a bit, but it's not an issue of a shortage of inventory rather than a shortage of people having money. Like people do not have that much money. Like the everyday person, it's just gotten kind of unaffordable. We have an affordability crisis. Interest rates are high. People are in a lot of debt. Like, it's like,
No, yeah, and then
it's just gnarly, you know? Like, people aren't, it's not like the one thing that hasn't really changed in the last 20 years, too. Like, you'll see it on headlines, like, oh, you know, like, salaries are starting to increase and like bonuses and stuff like that. It's kind of the opposite. Like, yeah, people might get like promotions and raises, but it's not matching up with the pace of inflation and everything that's devaluing. So it's kind of like homes are more expensive, but really everything has just gone up with it. So
no, exactly. So the prices of everything has gone up,
yeah.
but the average salary isn't keeping up with that at all. That's why it really is much harder to get by nowadays.
When you really run the math, right? Let's say like even with like, you know, yeah, taxes have increased a bit, but not like substantially where it's really killing you. Property taxes for sure have gone up, stuff like that. But when you look at in like if the laptop was on, if we could look at the chart where it's like the pace of inflation with you know, people's salaries, it's almost like 100K now before taxes is kind of like 55K. Like just bringing it, if you rewind like 3-4 years ago, that's how inflation has really like jacked things up, you know? So if you're making 6 figures, you want to make like mid 6 figures, which is crazy now, right? To feel like you're making 6 figures. Yeah, things are costly.
No, it's true. The 6-figure goal that everyone has.
That was so 10 years ago. Like
That
that
exactly
would
was
have
10 years
been
ago.
nice 10 years ago. Like if you're making like 100K baseline 10 years ago, probably doing pretty good. Like you might be able to afford a house around here, right? In like Orange County, Southern California area. Not anymore though. You know, some of the quotes I put together for people looking for a loan of $1 million, you need to be making north of like 350K.
That's insane.
As a household. So let's just split it in half, right? Let's say husband, wife, one person is like a sales director, the other person has like is a doctor or something, right? Or like a physician assistant or something. You know, each person making 175K each, about 350, needing about 10 to 20% down. Their offers might not get accepted still. Like, and your mortgage is gonna be pretty up there.
Doesn't that sound just absolutely insane that you need $350,000 a year income in order to buy a home?
Oh, it's crazy.
Out here, I mean, obviously America's a big spot, but we're talking about Orange County, where I would talk to my barber.
Yeah.
And my barber, okay, she went to America as a barber. She was able to buy a house out here in Garden Grove.
What year?
That's what I'm saying. 1990.
Okay, yeah.
In the 90s, right? From a barber salary.
Yeah.
She was being a barber and she was able to buy a house. How much was her house? I say something about like 200,000, something like that.
Sounds about right in the 90s. So this is what's really interesting. Just to segue. So you know, if you're not from America or if you're like younger, like maybe if you're like 18 or something and you're watching this, you might not be familiar with the financial crisis of 2008. But basically, what happened is prior to '08 and like there wasn't really much fair mortgage lending practices in place. So back then, you could really write a loan like super easily. Like it sounds bad. Probably shouldn't say this, but dude, if I was a loan officer when we were like in junior high or high school, bro, I'd kill it. Like
Basically before 2008.
Pre '08 crisis, I'd write so many shady loans because
That's exactly why the 2008 crisis began.
Because there was no rules in place, there was no safeguarding in place, there was nothing. It was kind of just like, hey, you have an ID, and remember back then too, there's like no tech, right? So you can't like verify certain documents and like really go through like work verification, like all this crap you have to do in underwriting, right? Like back then, you really could just put your name down. Yeah, this is my social. I think it's my social. Some documents, a couple pay stubs. You could have got laid off. Who knows, right? Falsified documents, whatever. Submit it to some shady lender. Like, let's say, like you don't submit it to a bank or someone big, right? Boom, here you go. Here's your mortgage. Here's like $200K. Go buy a house. Do your thing. Interest rate might be a little higher because you know you don't have that much qualifying docs, but there it is. And what was happening was that throughout the country, so many nasty loans were being written, and you know these guys on Wall Street that were trying to bet against it because they thought, okay, what's going on in that bond market or mortgage-backed securities? What's going on? Why is there a premium on it? They go back, they start going to houses in America, like certain neighborhoods where you know it's supposedly increasing in value. All home sales are going crazy. They start knocking on these homes. There's no one there. People were just buying homes, bro, that they couldn't afford. They're buying their second home, their third home, their fourth home, trying to get into real estate investment, doing crazy shit. And really, they can't afford it. And then, you know, there's like 30-day lates, 90-day lates, 120-day lates. There's like, you know, if you miss your mortgage payments or whatever, eventually they will come after it and foreclose it. And, you know, all of a sudden it started to happen. People started getting laid off. If you don't have a job, you don't have money, you can't pay back your home. Domino effect. Everything just started going down, and that's how we got the great financial crisis of '08. But
I mean, we're still feeling the effects of that today. Because those banks, if you think about those banks were the ones who risked people's money. Because how do banks have the money to get the house or give people a loan to buy the house? They're using your money.
Oh yeah.
They're using their customers' money that the customers are depositing into the bank.
Right.
They use that money, loan it out, and when the person can't pay it back, and then there's a housing crisis, and they can't even sell the house to recuperate the money. Well, what's supposed to happen is that the people who put the money into the bank, which is your money, they're supposed to just lose that money. But instead, Obama bailed out the banks. Was it Obama?
I'm not sure.
Or was it George Bush?
I mean, they both.
Okay.
It was probably bipartisan because they had to. They absolutely had to. It didn't matter.
No,
what
you
party.
don't have. You didn't have to. A choice was to let the banks fail. That's a choice.
But they had to though. Like it would have been pretty bad, bro.
You're not 100% bad, but it's like the Great Depression. The banks fucked up. That's FTX crypto, right? They fucked up.
That's different.
It's both kind of.
It's kind of the same.
You're using your customers' money in a way that you lost your customers' money. It's the same way.
Right.
Same thing. So they lost their customers' money. And what could have happened was that, hey, Americans, don't trust the banks. Don't trust the banks. When you put your money in there, it's not safe. You have to know what your bank is doing with your money.
Absolutely. I have a list of banks I stay far and clear away from because they're really shady.
Exactly.
And they keep getting away with things because, you know, they have pretty strong people on their side, like high up there, right? But yeah, don't a huge thing too, like just a tip, don't put all your money in one place. Ever. Mm-hmm. Ever. Because anything could happen.
So this is what I'm saying. If you let the banks fail and let people lose their money, it's gonna suck. It obviously is gonna suck. But after it's all done, people recover, the country will be in a better place. Instead of now, they bailed it out, which is basically you're socializing the losses. What happened was, bro, instead of the people losing their money, we used all of America's money. We decreased the purchasing power of everyone in order to pay for their fuck ups.
Right.
So we socialized the bank's losses. When what's funny is that if the banks profited, they got to keep all the money. But because they did risky loans, they lost their customers' money. It was a horrible outcome. Well, now the government stepped in and said, "Oh, we're gonna bail you guys all out." So that is actually, I think, for the time being, oh my God, we put a Band-Aid, but it just, I think at the end of the day, it makes everyone off, it makes it worse because now the dollar is less strong. Your purchasing power decrease. The housing, the price of house, the price of houses is just going way up where you have to be a millionaire to buy a house nowadays. And yeah, it was a net, we just kind of, because the losses were the losses, but we made it go out further. We stretched it out further, the recovery of it.
Oh, yeah. So now, basically, fast forward 16 years later, right? Since 2008, it's 2024 now. There's like the SAFE Act came out, basically, that is to make, mortgage lending, residential lending there's a lot more oversight now. There's a lot of like safeguards in place to make sure you're not like institutions aren't writing like nasty ass loans that could mess up the market. But it's funny, when you look outside looking in the last few years, a lot of people are taking on riskier loans. And when there's an acceleration in people taking riskier loans, higher rates and all this stuff, it's kind of like a signal or a flag like, okay, the consumer isn't doing that well, right? So, yeah, I think things are tight for a lot of people right now. I mean, it's we definitely live in like interesting times. It's different for sure. But yeah, there's always, that's the thing about like housing, right? Like either way, you're going to need something over your head. Like if you're not going to rent, you're going to buy. It's one or the other. Or you're going to move back to mom and dad's, like that might make sense for the time being if you got to save up your chips and, plan elsewhere.
No, I'm just personally, I'm seeing people lose their jobs. I'm seeing people have to move back with their family or move in a place where it's a lower rent. And it's so funny, this current administration, Biden and Harris, they're talking about when Kamala is talking about the current presidency.
Yeah.
She's talking about how, oh my God, Bidenomics is working so good.
Dude, I've been getting
It's working so well. And then now that she's running, she says, meat has gone up 50%, houses has gone up, blah, blah, blah. Gas has gone up. When I get voted in, I'm going to fix all this. It's like, choose one.
No, what's ironic? Because, like, dude, people have been sending me that stuff.
Exactly.
People have been sending me, like, those reels and just shit she was saying and shit she's saying now. And it's like, you do realize you were the vice president during this whole time, right? So it's super hypocritical. Like you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Like, what do you mean? Like, what? You've been in office, technically, like, as vice president still, but you've been a part of this administration, so what's going on? Like, it doesn't make sense, bro. It's weird.
Dude, she's just in there to get whatever. She'll say whatever just to get votes. She doesn't really have a stance.
It's attention grabbing, right? Just like anything else, but...
No, just the fact that Kamala is even a candidate is crazy.
It's a trip.
She was never voted in.
But it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, like... It's one of those outcomes where it's just like, oh shit, people are talking about it. It might happen. It might become true. And then the least, the most popular idea, tends to just become, the eventful choice. So, yeah.
So how do you think loans is going to go on right now when, okay, you're working in California.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Mortgages are rough in California.
Yes. And then now the home price is crazy. You need $350,000 income just to buy a normal home in Orange County now is like $1 million.
Oh yeah,
right? Especially in our area.
It's competitive. Like so
how is that?
So I'll be straight up. This is my book of business. I don't do much of my business in California. Actually, I was like, I switched a few brokers already the past year, and it's just like, yeah, there's not really any mortgages. I mean, there are people buying homes in California, but it's like not as much as in other states. So the beauty of my line of work
Because
is,
California is having an exodus. People are
yeah.
leaving California, going to other states,
So
selling their homes here, and then going out of the state buying home.
So you got to find your niche, right? In any area of business you ever go into, you got to find like, okay, what works for me? What's my strategy? My niche, I help people that want to bounce out of California go to Texas. You know, I'll get you nicely approved, ready to go. I'll link you up with a realtor out there. Boom, bam, here you go. Leave this state with a fully underwritten pre-approval. Have a great life. If you ever come back, you know who to call. Or if you need a refinance, there you go. Right? But that's kind of that's been my bread and butter. I do a lot of refinances too. Like there's the beauty of lending or loans is like there's so much stuff out there, right? Everyone needs money and everyone has a different situation. So, you know, my job is to kind of just really see if you qualify, present those options to you. So yeah, man, that's a thing. Otherwise, you know, it's funny. I had a couple loans fall out here in California, in Orange County. Like, this is where I do business, right? And guess what? I can't compete with Bank of America or Chase. So, not to get super nitty gritty about like lending, loans, mortgages, it could be a very like boring topic. But basically, if you were to look at yourself as a lender, like let's say like Brandon, you lent out money, right? Would you say lending out a high amount is risky? Like, let's say, like, would you rather lend someone that has like a stable income, stable job, $500K, or would you rather lend a business owner like $1 million? Like, right? There's gonna be like certain like things in place, certain things you're looking for. Like, okay, why would I lend this guy X amount of money? Why would I lend the other person X amount of money?
It depends. To me, I think it's just if it's a secured loan or not.
Yeah,
That's
see,
how they, if it's
there's
it's
collateral,
secured,
right?
yeah, if
Like,
it's
what are you
collateral.
putting down? What's in it for me?
That's it.
If it goes south.
I think that's most of a loan because let's say when you're buying a car, if you're putting a large down payment, dude, banks love that
Oh yeah,
because they know, oh, you covered the down payment. If anything happens, I could just sell the car and I'll still be good
right.
because I know the aftermarket value or whatever. And just like a house, if you put a large down payment, they know if anything goes wrong,
They
hey,
seize it.
I can seize, I have the house,
Right.
and I can sell the house, and the down payment would cover any potential losses that I could have. So I think this, it comes down to secured loan, and if you could pay it back. But if you have it secured, collateralized, yeah, the bank's gonna take it.
So basically, you answered most of what they're looking for, right?
Mhm.
So basically, there's a term ATR, ability to repay, right? You're going to look at, okay, let's look at this guy's credit report, 10-year trade line, what's happening in the last 10 years, but really, we're probably just going to look at the last 4 years. Let's see their behavior. They opening credit cards and closing it right away. They freaking debt consolidating. What are you doing, right? So one of the main things you're going to look at when you are getting a mortgage, the lender's going to look at is your credit, your assets, right? What do you have? Like, what do you own anything? How much debt do you have? So credit worthiness, how much, you're able to repay, all that fun stuff. And your income, how much money you making, right? Those are the three main things. And basically, bigger loan amounts, obviously they're riskier, right? You're lending a bigger amount of money and it's going to take a longer period of time for you to get that back as the lender. So loan amounts in Southern California, as you can see with home prices being high, they're a lot higher. Like, so the loans here are like $1 million, 1.2, whatever. They're considered high balances. They're high balance loans. And basically, who has the most money when you really think about it, right? Like, you're just like, okay, who probably has the most money? Like financial institutions. It's probably JP Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, like certain big ass banks,
Big
right?
banks.
So what's the song? Big
Bank
take little bank. Yeah.
Big bank take little bank.
I mean, that's basically it. Big loan amounts. I'm gonna say this to everyone. I want to be fully transparent. If you're getting a big loan, check your bank or credit union first. Don't go to Joe Schmo down the street that has like, that's not really insured and is like, yeah, I'll get you that money at a higher percent. shoot, anything could happen to his business, right? Not to shit on like little guys or anything like that, because I'm basically a small business owner doing my own thing. But you know, if it's a big purchase, you're buying a big house, check with the people that have the most money first. See if they could get you the best rate. Shop that thing around. So to wrap it back up into the situation, yeah, a lot of my loans, like I'll put together quotes for like clients, and they'll be like, "Damn, bro, like you're still too expensive by like half a point, or a percentage point is a little like 0.5% higher, which is a lot, right?
It's a lot, yeah.
Over 30 years on a mill." And they're like, "Dude, thank you so much. You're so helpful, but I'm gonna go with the bank." And I'm like, "Yeah, as you should. Like, unless you really want to go through me, you can, of course. I'd love that too. You know, I eat what I kill type of thing. So, but I look at it long term. You know, like, okay, well, the rates are gonna go down within the next couple of years. Hopefully, they're gonna go down harder. You know, maybe we'll refi or we'll do something else. But for you to get that house right now, go with the bank. No pressure. Yeah. So,
Crazy.
yeah, a lot of my loans are actually done out of state, in other states where people are actually moving into and can afford. But it's funny when you talk to some of the locals there. Like sometimes when I'm prospecting, they're like, "You're from California? F you! You guys keep coming and taking in everything." And I'm like, "We're not taking everything. We gotta, these folks are trying to make a living and survive too. They can't afford it here. Like, what do you want them to do?" Yeah, it's interesting times.
No, that's true. I hear people moving out of Cali.
Yeah.
They want to go a different state. The only thing is, your friends and family here that's pretty important. But
yeah, take it from someone that's left before, and it wasn't that long. I only left for like a year, right? Like, it's hard. You really gotta draw out your 5-year, 10-year game plan, and like depends on the type of person you are, what you like doing, what you do on a day-to-day basis. Like, do certain things matter to you? Do you need to be by the beach? Are you huge on weather? Do you have
Bro, the move isn't to move out of state. The move is to move out of country. Go to Philippines, go to Vietnam, hey.
Dude, I think that's as things are getting more expensive, because like here's the funny part now, right? Because now people are like, dude, even if I move to Texas or Florida, like some of the people I talk to, right? They're like, even if I move out there, well, XYZ is more expensive, and I'm gonna be running the AC on the whole time because it's like 110 degrees every day in Texas. My cost is probably gonna even out, right? And I'm just like, well, yeah, property tax is higher out there, so you're gonna have a bigger bill end of year, right? There's that expense. Yeah, you might be cheaper to get around, like gas is cheaper, like fuel, like transportation might be a little cheaper, but yeah, other costs are gonna offset and whatever, right? So it's kind of like, what's convenient to you? What makes sense to you? Like you have to define like what kind of lifestyle you want, right? It might be a little cheaper, but is it cheaper if you're booking a flight to go visit grandpa and grandma every year for Christmas in California, right? Like you're spending like $7K doing that every year. Okay, well, could have lived in the IE, or like you could have just bought a house out a little further from Orange County, and then like that probably might balance out actually. So things are kind of starting to level out now, and like some people, like there's even situations where people that moved out during COVID, they're kind of like, dude, man, I miss it. I miss it back in OC. I miss being with the friends. Like I miss being so close to like my sister and like the nephews, like stuff like that. So, it's hard. It's tough. Going global though, that's the move. You see like certain countries like just they're not, I don't want to say like they're desperate, but they're ready for that cash infusion or for like retirement, like 401k is a transfer over. Like, oh, do you have a 401k? Let's assess it and see what you could buy here. And it's like, damn, like that's aggressive, bro. Like when you think about it, it's like, yeah, let me tap into your stockpile of money that you've been building up your whole life and see if we could leverage that and use that to buy property and get you to move here. Like that's an aggressive sale, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, so I was talking to my cousin just the other day, okay? And she's more liberal. I'm more conservative or Republican. And she was I would ask her, okay, why did you always feel like you're more a side of a liberal, like today's liberal? And she said, man, because I felt like, they were the one who were always about for the greater good. You know, doing it for the greater good, for the working people. People are struggling now. People need help. And I said, dude, I totally understand. But when you actually put it, all their policies, when you put it in practice, it doesn't do that.
It seems like the opposite once it gets implemented, right?
Exactly. So that was I was telling her, okay, this is why people are struggling. It's not because of corporations. She said, yes, corporate greed. She would say that too. And I said, people aren't struggling because of corporations just jacking prices up. The real reason is because the government is too big. The government, you know, when they think that, oh, we're gonna create this Inflation Reduction Act, which is basically spend more money, spend more money, spend more money.
Oh,
We're gonna
yeah,
spend
dude.
more money to decrease inflation, but really, no, you're increasing inflation by doing that, by spending more money, by going more into debt. So I was trying to explain to her, dude, this is I understand the problems. Yes, we agree on the problems, but the solution isn't for the government to just start giving people handouts.
Right.
That doesn't reduce inflation. That doesn't help us in the long run. Most people end up just abusing government
Abusing it,
programs.
bro. Dude.
Exactly.
And then outside, like people
And they
that
start telling their friends like, "Yo, I'm doing this. You should hop on."
dude, people that don't qualify it and the people that really do need the help, they start getting on it and abusing it, and it just gets the use case of it is gone, and it sucks. Like the people that really actually do need it, they can't get access to it, right? So, dude, I'm yeah.
Yeah. So the thing I was trying to tell her, like, yes, bro, it's not about corporate greed. Think about if you were to start a corporation. That's a very hard thing to do. You're gonna have to provide a product and service that people want.
Yeah, we're filing
And-
in Delaware and everything. We're going out of state.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to employ people, give them jobs, pay them every month, and also build a company where it actually is profitable. Okay, so that's a hard thing to do as a corporation, and we need more corporations to do that and to provide product and service to make our lives better. And man, we're going through this whole thing, and she's talking about like billionaires. That's a huge topic in the Democratic circles, right? They don't like billionaires.
Yeah.
And I said, we need more billionaires. I believe the U.S., if we had more billionaires, the country would be a better place. Why? Because think about the billionaires that we know. Let's name them off. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Oprah, Google, the Google, Mark Zuckerberg.
It's a lot,
And
bro.
exactly. And I thought about it. Oh, Bill Gates, I've used Windows before. Steve Jobs, Apple. I'm talking to you on an iPhone. Tesla. I have a Tesla. I'm driving a Tesla. Oprah, I read one of her books. And Google, I use Google on a daily basis.
Hourly, maybe. Yeah.
So I told her, dude, they're billionaires for a reason because we all use her shit. Amazon, I have things shipped to my doorstep next day. I don't even have to go to the store. There's a reason why they're billionaires because we all use their shit. Like the whole country uses their products and services. So we need more billionaires. We shouldn't be taxing billionaires out the ass and not incentivizing people. We need to incentivize people to become billionaires. We need more Americans to want to be billionaires to create products and services that the whole country uses. And that improves our lives. So this whole idea of like, man, we need to tax the rich, do this, like, oh, why is the CEO getting 100% raises while the regular guy, the guy work on the ground, working the cashier, why isn't his salary going 100%? Because that guy's easily replaceable. He needs to increase his skills. It's hard to become CEO.
Yeah, who's
The CEO works decades to get there.
right?
And the company only pays the CEO what he's worth or what she's worth. That's what a company does. We want to keep you there because we believe you are a good fit for us and that it's going to be hard to replace you. We can't find someone who's going to be doing it for less that does just a good job. That's how business works. It's not the CEO saying, "Oh, I'm gonna keep your paycheck the same while me, I'm gonna get 100% raise." No, there's a board of directors. They come up with a decision to pay the CEO. It's not some arbitrary like, "Hey, the CEO, I'm just gonna pay myself more."
Oh, yeah, there's different packages, everything.
Yeah.
Everyone comes into at a different table. However you can negotiate and leverage your resume and what you did at the previous company, right? Like no one just becomes a CEO out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's a very like vetted position and like something that you really have to earn.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, bro, I'm not saying all CEOs are the best at
Oh,
what
for
they
sure.
do too, and they're not greedy.
There are some very questionable like salaries for sure. But
yeah, where they have a insider tip from their stock,
right.
and just before it happens, they sell all of their stock. That's that's unfair.
But
yes.
like I know what you're saying. Like base case, it's just like who brings in more value, and should we really be like, you know, murdering that guy with taxes just because he's making way more money? Like, no. Like,
yeah,
that's not going to solve everything. I think the reason why that's always that always makes the headlines is because it does get the masses, everyday people that are working, it gets them riled up, right? Like, as you are waking up, getting ready for, you know, work, check socials, you know, and then you just see these headlines and you're like, fuck, yeah, I do gotta go clock into this, you know, this mother effer, and like, damn, like, you know, like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. Like, why does he get paid all the money? It gets you riled up. It builds you up to go vote. And then I think that's what it really is. I mean, that's why it's just always like a talking point.
I think it generally the Democratic population is more low information voters. I'm just gonna say it. Well, and it's not their fault at all, because I think, look, people have regular jobs. People have to clock in 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. They don't have that time to sit down, listen to podcasts, read books, and actually understand what goes into a business. And they think, I should be getting paid more because I'm going in and I'm doing my job. But you have to understand like the value of your work. How easy replaced are you? How hard it is to be a corporation that's profitable and has shareholders and this and that. I just think, yeah, you're not really understanding the whole story when it comes to that.
Right.
And yeah, we shouldn't be taxing billionaires all this money. And the reason why conservatives or Republicans believe in lesser taxes, because we want government to be less. We want people to keep their money, and government shouldn't be the one. They're horrible capital allocators.
Exactly.
You give them a bunch of money, they go into $35 trillion in debt.
Oh, dude, like, I think, like, if I was to, like, you know, if it was a video game, you know, and I was like to set it all up and everything, I would definitely track taxes a lot more. I think there's a lot of tax evasion, crazy ass tax practices, and like you said, governments are the worst at allocating the budget, capital, and all of that, right? You don't know what the hell happens behind closed doors and what happens, like, you know, like it could get really rigged. Like I was reading about stuff here, about the mayor, and like, did you read about that? Like,
what happened? No.
I think he's the mayor of Orange County or something, right? Like, I guess like him and his wife have been in, you know, in government for a long time. And then during COVID or whatever, you know, they started like acquiring properties and all that. And then his daughter, they put some properties under her name and like started getting all these homes. And they're like, dude, how is a 22-year-old funding this or whatever? Ends up being he was like using taxpayer dollars to qualify or something like that, right? Some shit like that. If we had it on the laptop, we pull it all up. I don't know all the details. My parents were like giving me the spiel. I was like, dang, that's dirty, you know? That's crazy. But anyways, it's just like, yeah, dude. Where does the money go, right? That's what happens. That's where a lot of things usually go south. It's like people get greedy and then like people huddle up together and it's like, nah, let's scheme here. Let's do this. Let's do that. Bam.
Yeah, sending money to game, that's a scheme.
Yeah.
That's money laundering or something. They're doing something with that money.
Yeah. So where did you guys where did you and your cousin kind of like where did that conversation go?
It just to me, I talked to her on the phone for an hour,
Yeah.
and it was really for me. Just I started off just asking questions, like really understanding why does she think the way she thinks,
Mhm.
and just trying to get understanding. And then what's interesting is just we agree on the problem, right? And to her, I just try to say my side where I'm like, no, the solution is just different. The solution isn't to like we're all for the working people, but you have
Yeah.
to understand it's not. You're not gonna get there. You're not gonna create equality by taxing billionaires and giving it to the poor. That's not gonna fix society. I think we should have less government and just the reason why we should tax corporations less is so that the corporations have more money to employ more people. That's it. Like the government shouldn't just let people have opportunities. That's what we want. And it goes back to like just things like the minimum wage, how Democrats want, oh, we want to increase minimum wage. It sounds really good, but to the business, that actually means
It creates so much pressure on like pricing and like
exactly pricing,
the economies of scale, like
the amount of people you can employ.
yeah, everything. It ends up shooting people back in the foot. Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't help. It doesn't help people because now when McDonald's is forced to pay people $15 an hour when they used to pay 10 to $5 an hour, well, less people could have jobs, less people could even get the experience in the first place. This is how the economy works. When you're young, you take whatever job you have so that you get that experience. The experience is more important than the money. And the money is not supposed to be
Bro.
it's not supposed to be supporting a family. The you getting a job, having experience, now that actually gives you more skills. So the next job you go for, where it's more money, they're like, oh, this guy actually worked. Instead of just going to college for 4 years, not doing anything. We're like, I don't know what you could do. So the experience is more important. So paying people $5 to $10 is just getting their foot in the door. You're not supposed to support a family like that.
Right.
You're supposed to get your foot in the door, get the experience, and now go and find another job because you have more experience on your belt and the company's more likely to hire you. So this whole idea of increasing minimum wage, paying the workers more, which I think you should do, but not having government force the company to do that, right? So where did it lead to? We just ended like, obviously we're not going to change each other's mind, which is not that wasn't
That's
the
not
point
even
of it
the
at all.
intention, yeah.
Exactly, that wasn't even my intention at all.
It's kind of just
they were never.
share ideas and like see okay, what solution, what best practices do you think we should take type of thing, right? Like what would you do? All right.
No, I would love one of the things that I would love doing is like inviting a liberal here on the podcast and just talking to them about issues.
Let's go down the street. We'll be fine.
Yeah, let's talk about the key issues. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
You know what? And it's funny, like how I've always viewed politics. Actually, it's kind of like, dude, we all want the same thing, bro. Like
Exactly, we all want the same
everyone
thing.
wants to, everyone wants to be able to go on their vacations, provide for their family, enjoy nice things, eat a good meal. Like everyone wants the same thing for the most part. It's just different ways of going at it. That's all. And it's like, yeah, some ideas make sense, some ideas don't. But dude, when you have like X amount of population, like California is huge. Like it's crazy how many people still live here. It's like, damn, yeah, no wonder everything's expensive. Like if we're trying to fund all these programs and make everything work and like, okay, I see why it costs a lot. Dude, when I went to Detroit, right? Honestly, I would never thought I'd go to Detroit. It's just one of those cities where like you always hear like growing up like listening to East Coast rap and stuff is like, dude, Detroit is a scary place, it's hood. It's gotten so gentrified, like it felt like I was in like LA/New York and there was no one. Like it was just empty. And I was like, is it because of this time of year? Like I was just trying to think of all these things and I was like, there's really not really that many people. And it's just like, yeah, just like nice ass skyscrapers, like new development, all this stuff, but there's not really many people around. It's like, dang, like this is kind of weird. This feels kind of like dystopia. Like it was kind of weird. But
so, what do you think is going to happen with, all this money printing? The debt bubble is 35 or 36 trillion now.
Yeah,
and the price of homes going crazy and inflation going crazy, prices going up, salaries aren't
dude.
keeping up. So where do you think this ends?
Dude, I get asked this all the time. When should I buy a house? But what if a house, the housing market cools off and I get a 20% discount? Like, people, I get it all, right? Cannot time the market. You cannot time the market. You cannot put a value to something. Everything is created by, the demand, and it's very dynamic, right? Where do I think it's going? In desired markets, right? Places where people want to live, people want to start families and go to, you're not going to see a price reduction there. Prices are just going to keep appreciating. On paper, they're going to appreciate, like, when it's listed, the numbers. But really, with inflation and more printing, we're just going to keep on printing. That's the only thing we know how to do, bro. Like, things are just going to increase in value, like, $5 is going to become the new dollar if it isn't already, right? Like, what could you do with $5 now, Brandon? If I give you $5 and I tell you to have a great day, what are you going to do?
I go buy an ice cream.
Dude, maybe just half, bro. Or like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's true. If you're going to an ice cream store,
bro,
like a Cold Stone or
yeah,
it's minimum $10 you're gonna spend.
You might spend all $5 at the ice cream truck, like buying like the most basic thing there. Like,
well, think about it. Like when we went to an ice cream truck, you should be able to buy, like, you buy 5 ice cream bars.
Ball out, bro. $5 in junior high.
Now
you get them little Mexican
you
candies.
Get 1.5. You get 1.5.
You get like 10 of the Mexican candies. You get like a push-up pop. You get a bag of chips with some tapatio in it. Like, that's $5.
That's true, bro. That's
right,
far, dude. That's a lot.
That's $5.
$5 deals,
dude. As like a 13, 14-year-old, right? But now it's like you don't even see ice cream trucks around anymore. They can't, dude. There's no way. Like, I cannot imagine how they'd be able to stay in business. That's tough, right? The margins aren't there. But yeah, where I see the whole, like, if we're just talking about real estate, I think home prices are just gonna keep going up, especially in Orange County. Like, I've been trying to time it forever, and I just can't. Things just keep going up, right? And I've come to terms with it. Like, oh shit, you just gotta make way more.
As long as I've been an adult, I don't remember one time where the market went down for houses. It just kept on going up.
Because you just said it right there. As long as I've been an adult.
Yes.
So
after 2008.
Right.
After 2008.
So there was this little cool off twice in 2008 and 2016 when, like, Trump was kind of going into presidency and, like, the currency markets were kind of like getting weird. The rate of exchange when we were borrowing money. But it's really just those two times. So when we were still 16 or in high school, we're not looking at homes when we're 16. We don't know. But that's when, 2008 to 2012 was, a great time to buy a house if you could do it and you had a job. Like, that was amazing. Another window was COVID. COVID, when interest rates were at historic lows, basically your purchasing power is increased because the rates are lower. So you could afford more house. The mortgage is, it's more doable. But now it's like, dude, no. Affordability, it's like the biggest issue right now. The everyday person cannot afford a home, especially around here.
And the rates, I never really understood how much.
Ask away.
Yes, I never understood
how any of this shit worked until I got into the industry. Because I was just like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, why are people so... Hell, are these grown-ups all addicted with rates and all this, certain terms? Oh, okay, I see. It really affects your budget. It really does. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's say the rates. Okay. Before it was 0%. Now it's around 5-6%.
So it's never been zero. Just to start.
Okay.
So there's always. Okay, I'll just put it this way.
Well, the Fed. If a bank was trying to get the money from the Fed, that was zero.
Okay,
but not as far as.
If you're
mortgage.
talking about the fund rate of bonds and stuff, yeah, it did go negative and stuff like that. But let's talk about just the everyday consumer, right?
Okay.
So the everyday consumer, you go to the bank right now, or even if you go back in time in 15 years or whatever, 25 years, or even when America started, there wasn't ever really a time where you could just borrow money for free. Whoever is lending you funds has to make a return on their investment. Why would you give money away for free? This is not the church. We're not just giving out religion for free. You know what I mean? It's for profit, right? They have to make money. So basically how it works is the way the banks make money, the way lenders make money is to originate these loans, process it, service it, create it out there in the world, and there you go. You have a contract. How it works is there's a lot of different. So like basically there's bonds and all this stuff. There's the rate of exchange where the Federal Reserve creates money, borrows money, and like how much money we could spend as a nation and all that fun stuff. But basically, when interest rates go up, obviously it's going to be more expensive, right? And
no, but what I'm getting to is that how much more expensive it is. Like a 6% rate would
double.
Let's
So
say if you're buying a home, $600K, right? And the rate's 6%, and you're borrowing X amount.
Yeah, that's your question.
That literally almost doubles the price of your home, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah, I never realized, like, wow, that is insane.
So this is the reason why. The reason why is because the most common loan is a 30-year fixed mortgage.
Exactly, 30
right?
year.
Now, over the span of 30 years as you're making the payment, the first 15 years is actually more interest loaded. Bank or lender has to recoup on their investment first. Why would they be just giving you free money? So the first half of the loan is usually just going to the lender. That payment you're making, let's just say your payment was $3K, $2,800 of it is interest. Straight up. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of loan officers aren't going to tell you this. Why would they scare the consumer? That your client would hang up right away. They're like, oh, fuck, that's how it works? Yeah, you're not going to explain to them how it works, but this is how it works. A good loan officer will go through the whole entire amortization schedule with you and be like, hey, you make an extra payment, you do this in year 7, 15, and whatever, you could reduce your loan length by 8 years. There are a lot of hacks. There's a lot of cool things you could do. But basically, first 15 or usually first portion of the loan is all interest. Once you pass that halfway mark, then more of it gets loaded to the principal balance that you owe. So when you're actually getting a mortgage, a 30-year fixed at whatever X percent, that loan isn't $500K. It's probably like $1.2 million total costs. Right. It's expensive, bro.
No, that's insane. Yeah. I can't even.
Homes are expensive. So the reason why home prices keep going up and keep blowing up is because, well, when rates were 3%, 4%, everyone and their mom was refinancing, getting cash out of their homes, using that to buy an investment property, buying a condo because their kids are going to get ready to go to college in this place. Oh, we want a retirement hub for our family. Let's do that. Let's all get on it together. People just picking up properties left and right. Now, when that happens, things are just going to keep staying elevated, right? The demand is so fire. Like, it's just so high. Prices are going to just keep, the competition is there. Prices are just going to keep going up, 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 and up. What's crazy now is that things are still both high. Like, interest rates are still high. Home prices are cooling off a little bit. Like, maybe they might change the listing price, do a price reduction, a price cut by like 10K, 20K. But what the hell does that do when you're taking on debt that's like 100 racks? Or not 100, like in the 6 figures. So, yeah, bro.
No, look, I'm mad about that. I'm mad that this is what they took away from us. You used to be able to be a barber, a construction worker.
Oh, here it is, bro.
And
sorry, time out.
Yeah.
My bad. One of my favorite things I reposted when I got laid off was from one of these finance mortgage bros, right? This is what he put on X. A $400K mortgage at 2.75%, right, is $1,600 a month. So you bought a home in, let's say, Texas, right? Homes in Texas are about $400 to $500K on the higher end, right? If you're getting like a pretty nice 2-story house. Say you got that at 2.75%, 30-year fix. That's only $1,600 a month, bro. Is that doable?
That just the interest?
No. Your monthly payment for your home.
That's very doable.
Hey,
Jesus.
Home payment is due, brother. For 30 years, I need you to pay me $1,600 a month.
That's my rent.
That's dope, right?
That's dope.
Okay, so that's why everyone was refinancing. That's why there was like a refi boom. They call it refi boom in mortgages. Now, fast forward now, right? This guy put a $250,000 mortgage or loan at 6.75%. So another 4%. is $1,600. A free cardboard box is $0 per month. Don't let the banks win. Basically, what he's saying is that, like, dude, 150K less of a loan amount at a 4% increase, and you're basically paying the same shit. Like, we are so fucked right now, money-wise. So be careful with what you're, like, borrowing. And, yeah, it's crazy. Every percentage point is quite a bit. It's like another, like, $600 to $700.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
and that's not taxes and insurance. So you got there's phantom costs of being a homeowner. There's a
oh,
lot
there really is. Yes,
dude,
there is.
Bro, people get their dream home, right? Like, yo, new build, this shit's great, new construction.
Now you can't afford insurance.
Yo, some insurance companies might not even back you all the way because they're just like, yo, that area is a little too high risk now. It's kind of too hot now. What? What's gonna happen when Joe Schmo over there, like, you know, overheats his car, burnt? Like, you know, there's so much shit that could happen in the neighborhood, but. Dude, it's I've had friends that have like crazy ass plumbing issues. And they're like, dude, like, we're gonna have our housewarming party, but fuck, dude, the main line went bad. That's another 45 racks. It's gonna take 8 months. I was like, oh shit, like, dang, that's real, you know, like that's a real problem.
No, those are the horror stories here about being a homeowner.
Bro.
And people say, man, I shouldn't have bought a home.
Dude, and they couldn't even live in it yet.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't want to spill too much tea on their situation, but it was just like, damn, I felt for them. Like, oh, what are you doing now? Like, well, we got to rent. We got to do this. We got to do that. I was like, shoot, man. All the best, you know? Like, I hope that gets situated soon. Man, yeah, it's rough.
No, man, look. Back to what I was saying. What they took away from us. You know, you used to be a custom construction worker. You used to be a barber. And you were able to buy a home. Like, the older I get and when I have a family,
yeah,
I'm telling you, one of the things I really wish I could have is my own home.
Yeah,
for my family, for my growing family. And like we said earlier, the average house around our area, easily $1 million. And what type of income do you need to get that loan? $350K a year.
Yeah, $350.
Who do you know that's making $350K a year? It's the 1%.
Yeah, it's not many people for
it's
sure.
It's the 1%. A barber and a construction worker wasn't the 1%. They were the normal everyday people. And now you have to literally be a millionaire to buy a home. It's sad. It's saddens me, man. I mean, the generation before us, just, you know, they came in and worked regular jobs, were able to save enough money to buy a home, and our generation, millennials, we're left where, man, only, like, man, who out of your friends who has bought a home?
Out of, like, friends, like
anyone you know, just anyone on Facebook.
Well, yeah, like, not, dude. It's definitely
only the top business owners who are killing it in business, who are making minimum 20, 30, 40K a month. They're the ones I see buying homes.
It's far.
Other than that,
it's not as much as I'd like it to be. Like, I would really, yeah.
Other than that, all my other friends, they had to move out of the people who bought homes. They had to move out of state.
Yeah.
They moved to Texas, bought a home. They moved to Washington, bought a home.
Right, Arizona, Nevada, whatever you name it.
All the other Californians that stay here, I ain't see anyone buy a home.
Very few.
Very few. Yeah, very few. There's still some, but very few.
And it's not a home. Like, it's usually a condo or something, right? Like, which is dope, you know? If you're able to get a slice of the pie, that's awesome.
What's the difference between, what's a condo and in a home? What's the difference?
Yeah, so I mean,
condo is like in an area where there's like homes, right? Something like that.
Well, yeah, we got to have more real estate and mortgage talks and money. But basically, yeah, different property types. A single family resident is literally just, you know, it's its own dwelling, they call it. So its own house, right? There's like literally fences, whatever. That's your plot of land. That's your house. Condo minimum is usually going to be a part of a bigger plot of land, and other people are sharing that space too, right?
I know exactly what you mean now. Yeah.
There's a detached condo. So basically a condo that it looks like a house. It feels like a house. There's some space. There's like very little space in between your neighbors, but you're still sharing the same plot of land. Then there's like attached condos where they're all together. Those are kind of more like townhomes too. That's like a whole nother thing. But you know what really threw the red flag for me when I knew like, our generation is gonna have it really rough? When apartments in Santa Ana started going for sale, bro. When I started seeing that, when I was working at a direct lender, when I got into the industry, I was just like, damn, they fucking listing apartments now, like certain apartment units for like 400K, 450. I was like, sheesh, like, yeah, it's rough. Yeah,
Yeah, it's rough. The standard of living has gotten down, which is so interesting because technology makes standard of living goes up. It's supposed to go up through technology, but all the stuff that we want and need, housing, food, everything, all that's going up because the money
yeah, bro.
is losing purchasing power.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the way I see it ending is not in our lifetime, but
dude, it might be in our lifetime.
it might be in our
With
lifetime, which would suck.
it does suck. It's just like the
Unless you have a lifeboat. I know the lifeboat, but
bro. I mean, the rate of just like technological advances and like the acceleration of things that going on, and like it's so fast, bro. It's like you got to think about it. If we just go 20 years ago, when we were what, maybe like, shoot, 12. We're getting old. Okay, so like maybe 12. Dude, we had like Game Boy without colors and shit. Like we had like just like couldn't access the internet. Now you got kids like playing crazy stuff on airplanes. Like, like, dude, it's crazy now. Like, tech is crazy. People are like generating, like writing prompts on the plane and shit. Like, creating content is like, damn, like this guy's literally adding to his marketing plan while we're flying to this fucking conference. And he's about to post all this shit. I saw some crazy AI shit, bro, when I was at the conference.
really, like what?
No, it's just some crazy stuff that you could do now. It was like, dang, dude, like, yeah, now I really have to get active on social because everyone's gonna kill me. like I'm not gonna be able to market myself if I don't get active now. So it's like, dang, I'm not gonna be able to provide for the fam if I don't jump on this. No, it's crazy. So basically, like, you could I'll send you the app later. Or the website. But basically, you could record like a couple of videos of yourself. It takes all that information, takes your voice, like all those inputs, right? Face, all that. And then all you got to do is like talk a few paragraphs, and then you can make your own content. It will create a clone of you, and you're just like explaining a different type of mortgage program. Or let's say you're a car salesman, right? Could literally just green screen it. And then you're like, okay, all of a sudden now you don't just sell Hondas. You could sell anything, and you just write into the prompt what you want it to say. It's gonna have your voice and everything, change of clothes, whatever. And it's like, dude, this is crazy. This is nuts. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy tool, dude.
Yeah, who knows? It's Moore's law. Moore's law is technology or computers is just exponential, right?
Right.
Improves exponentially. We get double the power for whatever 50% less the cost.
I think Moore's law already like, how would you say it? Like, it got surpassed like in 2019 or something crazy, like where it's
really?
just where they're just like, oh, now it's
it went even crazier.
yeah,
right.
it's gotten even crazier with like, there's a term like quantum computing and stuff. Like that shit has blown shit out of the water. Like there's like crazy solutions now. Like I don't know, it's insane, bro.
Basically, there's a saying called your model gets destroyed. So the model of Moore's law, because it went even more than that, your model destroyed. Like, it's even crazier than Moore's law. So yeah, I know. That's what I think too. And just think about 20 years. 20 years into the future, how much different would it be? I'm talking about like self-driving cars. People ain't got to work. You're just interacting with robots everywhere. Everyone has a robot in the home that would do stuff for you.
One thing I want to share, dude, I feel like people already aren't really working. Not to like say people aren't working, because I know a lot of people are like trying to make it happen right now. People are really like trying their best to like, survive and all that. Like, dude, keep going, But like, I was at a couple, I was stopping by a couple diners and like food places in Detroit. And then it just took forever. And the lady was apologizing. She's like, I'm so sorry. Like, none of the workers showed up. Like, no one has been showing up. Like, it's going to be a while. I'm like, damn. Like, okay. Like, sorry. Like, don't worry about it. Like, don't, if it's a one-man show, it's all good. I'll just grab something quick. But it's like, yeah, man, people don't want to work. Because it's kind of like, why am I think some people are giving up too. It's just like, what am I doing? Why am I going to do this entry level job for what? And what's it going to pay for? Right.
Hey man, I know exactly how that feels.
Right.
Where the day you're supposed to work and you take the day off, like, man, I'm enjoying my day off, bro.
Dude, I've been there too, man.
Yeah,
Trust me.
you're like, yo, day off, this is amazing.
Yeah, dude. No, for sure. So, but it's like, dang, it's rough, you know. It's just tough. I don't know where it is gonna go. Like maybe we are gonna have what's it called, like basic income or whatever that the practice they want to implement.
UBI,
universal basic income, right? Yeah, like dude, that might really become a thing. I feel.
I don't know if you could really make it work, because you need to have production to get money.
Well, what's gonna
so
happen?
You can trade it.
Well, what's gonna happen is that it's just gonna cost more for the person that's trying to break out of the norm, right? Or like really trying to make a killing. So like the everyday person, or like let's just say someone that's a business owner, they might just get more. They might get taxed even heavier for that type of initiative or program. But hey, everyone gets $150 every month now
stupid.
for like Gatorade.
I think it's just so stupid.
Like in theory, it sounds great, right? Like in practice,
In theory,
but really,
it sounds. Oh, you're being nice to everyone. No one has to work.
Right. It sounds awesome, but in practice, it's like, dude, this shit's rough.
But Elon did say like he thinks AI will hit a point where hey, we don't have to do anything. People like anyone having a job is optional, because we literally have robots are gonna be so good that hey, we just have robots working for us. They could deliver the Amazon packages. They could work in the warehouse and do all the stuff. So the cost of production is gonna go so low that it's like, yo, you don't need to work. The robots be flipping burgers. I mean, Tesla's working on a humanoid robot.
Yeah.
And that is their vision, that one day every household is gonna have their own personal robot.
It'd be crazy.
Just like a phone.
Yeah.
Who knew that everyone like worldwide is gonna have access to a supercomputer, smartphone in your pocket, and that eventually that could be robots.
Isn't it crazy, bro?
We'll have a humanoid robot.
No, it's pretty crazy to think about, because it's like, what are some of like when I'm talking to clients or like just friends, family, and as we're getting older, it's like, what are some of the expenses that start creeping up, right? Like childcare, right? Let's say you need like a babysitter, or you need someone for after school programs, whatever. You need some like a babysitter, whatever. Or you might have aging parents or loved ones that are getting older, like they need elderly care, they need caregiver, whatever. Well, what might be able to solve that? Freaking robot, right? Like robot really might. It'll be like what's it called? There's a cartoon or a movie, Baymax. I think that's the name of the white robot in like one of the Pixar movies. But basically, it's like, yeah, dude, you got like your friendly assistant or a robot helping you out, and like that actually might be like a worthy investment. Like I'm just thinking about it. Like eventually, gonna have a kid and do all that. It's like, dude, would I trust this company to take care of my kid? Like maybe, like if it makes sense financially. Yeah, I don't know. It's a trip. It's happening fast.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see what technology could give us. Even though a lot of things are going wrong, like as far as money, because money is really important, right? And yeah, all the food, all that. But technology can really, man, just surprise us what it could do.
Oh, that's right? That's what I was listening to.
What did you listen to?
One last thing, I was listening to Gary V's new book, or his audio book.
It's about the
day trading attention.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's just talking about how like the craziest currency in one thing is just, it's like money. Like, dude, we all need it, and like, how are you gonna get it now, right?
No, if you think about it, money is a technology.
Oh yeah.
Money is 100% technology.
Right.
Where humans used it for trade and made us way more efficient with trade. Instead of finding people who want apples, trade them with a cow or something, we're like, you know what? How about what's one thing that we can use that everyone would want, so it would make just trade easier? When money is a technology, and then we fucked it up when we got off the gold standard.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
No, for sure.
you stop tying the money to something actual that actually takes work to make, but instead you just print out thin air. The money's gonna die soon.
Yeah.
Not soon, because it takes years for humans to be like, oh wow, dude, this money's worthless. It'll take years for that to happen until they're like, oh wow, they could just print out of nowhere. Oh shit, I need to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I need to get something else. This money's no longer useful.
Right. So there you have it. What are some of the tips, that might benefit our fellow, brothers and sisters, our fellow humans on the planet?
What are some tips? It's for people who like have money and they're just like leaving it in a bank account or leaving it as cash. You should still have cash, but I'm talking about the wealth divide is so great now because the people who have assets, those assets are going up in value, while people holding cash, their purchasing power going down. So, end of the day, if you want to help yourself and have some insurance against this debasement with the money, you got to get into assets that are rare, scarce,
Tangible things that have appreciating value.
Yeah,
That could
that
go up.
appreciation value. People are, the value of it's gonna not the value is gonna go up, but it's gonna retain its value.
Right. That's the key word right
Yeah,
there.
that's all that will protect you from the basement. Like the houses aren't going up in value; they're just retaining the value that was already there.
Right. Unless
It's
you
just
gotta-
the money's a problem. The money is going down.
It's so true. Like the home prices actually haven't really gained a grip ton of equity for some people. If you bought it way back in the day and you got a really good deal on the property, yeah, it all comes into the negotiation of the contract. But
Here's why I don't agree with that. Here's the thing. When let's say my barber buys a house, 200,000 back then. Now the house is $1 million. You think, oh my God, she made 800K, or she 5x her investment. But really, if she sells her house
Where's
and
she gonna
tries
go?
to get a comparable house, it's the same thing.
no, right,
She didn't win anything at all.
right.
She got extra money, but that literally is just that'll buy her the same house somewhere else.
I guess what I'm
That's it.
saying, is like, what was the true cost for that agreement or that loan or what was the true cost of you acquiring that home, right? Like how much interest did you actually pay on that home? What are you gonna do with that equity that you gain? Like what are you gonna do? You're gonna move out of state? You're gonna buy like 3 condos throughout the country and then do something with that, right? Then you actually really do realize something. You did build equity and you did build money. But if it's the case to just go from like one city to another city, nah, you just traded X for Z. Like you literally just traded letters on the alphabet, basically. You got to get creative with what you're doing and your purchasing power or the things that you actualize.
Exactly. That's my whole thing, man. I think
Right.
houses weren't really supposed to be investments. They weren't really supposed to be, hey, I could buy it and then rent it out to people.
Yeah,
Homes
they-
were meant to be lived in.
Dude, they were...
It's
dude,
shelter. It has a very functioning purpose for our lives.
I'm with you on that. As someone that's like trying to
but
get...
it became a financial product.
Dude, it became a financial product. It became a desirable luxury product. Like it just became so many things, and now it's just gonna keep going up. Like as in the cost of it, the cost to the consumer, it's just gonna get more costly for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying too, but like if you want to create anything as a business, you go ahead. You want to rent your house at Airbnb, that's a great business. People need that.
Yeah, do your thing.
But as far as just the common man trying to provide a family, trying to have a house for his family, man, dude's fucked.
Dude's just fucked, bro. Yeah. Dude, it sucks to say, bro.
Hey, you gotta keep renting, bro. Keep renting, keep slaving away.
Yeah, you gotta keep working. Like
Keep
it's
working,
crazy.
slaving away, and the dream, the American dream of owning a home, it's to the rich people now. It's to the 1%ers now.
Yeah, I don't sell that. I don't sell the dream of home ownership. I had some colleagues that would sell it so hard on the phone, and I'm just like, what are you doing, bro? Like, why are you reading off the script, bro? Don't do that to the poor consumer or to the poor old lady, bro. Don't sell her on this. crazy ass product that she is not going to be able to pay back. Like, that is fucked up. But you know what? People are going to say what they're going to say to get their paycheck. So
Look, yes, and also, hey, I think if you truly believe in your product and you truly believe that, yo, this is the American dream, I think you should sell it.
yeah, I mean, yes and
Yes,
no,
if
right?
you don't believe it, then yes, I see there's you're not being authentic. But if they truly believe that, bro, you bought this home and you be living life, whatever, that's on them. Hey, that's your belief. That's your belief. But
I guess.
but yes, I understand.
You know, like,
you're not.
you've been on the sales floor, you know, so you hear some crazy shit, and like sometimes it's just like, bro, like she's gonna do it no matter what. You don't have to sell her that hard on it, right? Like, don't paint this crazy ass picture. Like it's not that glamorous. All right, fine, if you believe it, cool, but don't like. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it could get unethical, but it is what it is.
100%. Look, here's one thing that I'll always remember working at Toyota was one of the finance guys, finance manager or something.
Dude, those guys are animals.
Oh man, those guys are animals, right? So
11% loan, 7-year. Yeah, why not, man? As long as we get them the keys today, bro.
no, man. Look, I was definitely more like you, Brian, where I didn't want to push it,
Yeah.
anything like that. Which doesn't make a good salesman. I don't think so.
Yeah.
You
No, it's
need
not.
to kind of
You need a hard close. You need
to kind of push them in the right direction where they want to go. Like it depends on your belief. Now that I look back, if I push people to get cars, like that, wouldn't that improve their lives? They need a new car. They're at the dealership for a reason. Like just hey, I know you want a new car. Let's get this decision made. You're just lagging the process if you don't get it done today. Okay.
Most of the time, you know, as humans, you need someone to get you through the finish line. Like, you have a desire, you have an interest to do so, but at the same time, okay, you're probably gonna. This is where you're going with it too. It's like, at what cost? You know, like this might be way out of your means. You know, it might just not make sense right now.
But look, the thing is, I thought everyone's financial situation was like mine back then. If I didn't have money, I felt like, oh, everyone else is feeling the same way. So I felt bad about selling them on a car, but I don't know your financial situation. You could probably easily afford this car, but because I was more in my head, you know, thinking like, you know, I would never afford this car. So I thought that's how other people felt too. But no, that is not the case, bro. There's people out here who have money and they will buy the car.
Bro, there are people that don't have money either, but they have a different viewpoint on money. They don't care.
Yeah,
they just want the car. So that's the trippiest part. I think that's the best thing you learn from sales or any type of like financial position or industry you go into. If you do, you start seeing how people view money. It's really interesting. But yeah.
Bro, dudes will come in, horrible credit. I want a Supra. Yeah. I want a Toyota Supra. And it's like,
bro, what happened to your other car loan?
Yeah, hey, I want a Camry TRD. I'm a teacher. I want a Camry TRD. I'm like,
well, you need a Camry TRD.
I know. I was like, hey, okay. I guess, you know, you just want the chicks or something.
Yeah.
But yes, I was going back to the finance manager talking about how I remember this quote he said. He's like, man, yeah, if we don't fuck them, they're going to go down the street. Another company's going to fuck them.
Dude, that's what every sales manager, finance manager is supposed to say, bro. That's the first thing to say. That's what, dude, I used to get called up, like when I became a loan officer, because they record all your calls, right? They record all your calls so they could review it, coach you, and next time you're going to do better, you're going to close the loan, right? So I get called up a few times. They're like, Brian, the call is so hot, bro. Like, the client loves you. They're vibing with you. You're already talking to them for 45 minutes. This is the sweet spot. Like, just fucking close the loan. Like, get it done. But then you said this, and then you said that. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm looking at the 10-year plan too for this lady. Like, what if her health gets worse or this and that, right? And they're like, nah, bro. Whatever we could get done today and while she's on the call, you got to get it done. Because if you're not going to take the lunch right now, someone else is going to take a lunch right after that call. And you know what? They're right. They're absolutely
it's 100% right. No, that's just the
that's just because the name of the game.
It's just reality. Look.
Yeah, right.
If you're thinking 10-year, that's just how it is.
Right.
That's just how it is.
Right.
If they look for a loan somewhere else, same thing.
No one's going to know where she's going to be in 10 years and I'm going to be in 10 years, right? It's not like she's going to call back 10 years later, Brian, I hope you're doing fine. Like, now I want to, you know, like.
Not even that. It's like, She's not gonna go somewhere else and find some amazing, great deal that blows your loan out of the water. You
Right.
know, if she wants a house, you sell the house.
Right.
She wants the loan for the house, you sell the loan for
You
the
keep,
house, bro.
you just keep it simple. Get it done. But
Get it done. And here's something I learned from Grant Cardone in his book, Closer Survival Guide. He said, bro,
Ooh, is that new?
closing. No, it's been out.
more OG, like it's one of the older ones.
No, it's been out. It's probably after 10x, you know. But one of the things he said, like, man, you know, nothing happens until you close people. Your life doesn't improve. Their life doesn't improve.
Right.
They're obviously looking for a house. If you don't close them, well, now suddenly their life doesn't change.
Right.
Your life doesn't change.
No one
So
won.
he says, the moment of the close is when both parties actually get to benefit. You benefit, they benefit. That's it. It's after the close. Before that, if you don't close them, no one life changed. No one life has changed. So
I like that. Yeah, Grant,
exactly.
dude,
No one's life has changed. And I should have done that insurance too. Like now, if I went back in insurance, bro, I would totally
bro,
understand the family life. As a man and a father, you need to have insurance.
bro, insurance. We should start getting into insurance right after this, bro. Let's go get our licenses and just get it done.
Yeah, huh?
Let's do it in different states. But no, dude, it's you really are just providing a solution for people. Like, you know, with whatever problem they're bringing up to you, or whatever problem they don't even know they might not have, right? Like you're presenting that option for them, and yeah, if you're not gonna do it, someone else will for sure.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I would go to the client's house or their prospect at the time. So they go to the prospect house. They're obviously interested in insurance. And when I sit down and they're giving me the running around like, I don't know if I want to pay that today. I don't know if I want to get it done today. And now I go back like, bro, what are you talking about? You have a family. Like, you have to protect your family and get this done. You're either gonna get it done now or done later. Like, just get it done now and get it off your plate.
Right.
Well, this monthly payment, like, it shouldn't even be a thing. It shouldn't be something that you think about. Like, you should already have this done. Why don't you have it done? You know, and I didn't want to be pushy. I didn't want to be that, but I didn't understand that, like, hey, you have kids, you have a wife. You need to get this done now. What do you do? Why did you not have it done earlier? That's how I should approach it.
I feel like life insurance is a huge urgency sale.
Yes,
for
and
sure.
it's
Huge.
like, yes, you might not die today, die tomorrow. You might outlive the policy, but you have to have it in there.
yeah,
You don't want anything, God forbid, something to happen to you, and now your wife, your kids are left trying to fit the bill. So yeah, it's like I would have helped more lives if I really pushed for the close. Like, bro, you need to do it today. You're waiting way too long. This is not right.
You just weren't in it long enough.
Yeah, I wasn't in long enough.
Yeah,
for sure.
you got to go through it.
Yeah, and having a family really makes you start thinking like, oh, what?
Your perspective, right?
No, because yeah, as a dad, I
What if?
definitely should have insurance, and I wish someone would just be like, hey, Brian, you need to sit down, and just do it right now, so you get out of the way. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do it.
So you know what's a crazy sale? That a lot of my colleagues I've met through like lending, they pivoted to life insurance, right? Usually a lot of people in sales, they'll end up getting licensed in different things and cross sale. A lot of them have like reached out to me and like, hey Brian, how's business? Da-da-da. Let me know if your clients need mortgage protection. I was like, what the fuck is mortgage protection, bro? They already paying all this shit. What the fuck are you gonna upsell them at the close, right? They're like, life insurance, dog. What?
Yeah, mortgage protection.
Then they would pitch me it, right? And like the whole spiel of how it works. And they're like, dude, the close rate is so high when you're doing that. And I'm like, why? And they're like, just think about it. You just signed off on a crazy ass asset. What's going to happen if you can't afford to pay that mortgage and you have a family and you got like 2 young ones in there and you got a wife that, maybe you're the breadwinner or maybe the wife's the breadwinner. Who's going to support that payment? You're going to lose that house. What's going to happen? Well, if you die, that policy could cover it. All that fun stuff, right? They start getting all technical. And I was just like, dude, that's fucking genius. Like, no wonder they sell it that way, right? But yeah, dude, it's like, I think a lot of salespeople get a bad rap too, just because it's like, oh, they're just trying to collect a check. But really, it's like, dude, if you had the means, like, if you were making money and, of course you're making all this money, you want to protect all the things you're working for. yeah, you should go the extra mile and protect your shit for like just what pennies on the dollar when you really think about it, right? Yeah, just it's wild times.
Yeah, man. Let's wrap it up with that, man. We're going for an hour and a half.
Dope. That's longer than we thought we would, but it's been a minute. There's
We're just flowing.
a lot of stuff to talk about. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Peace out.
Yep.
We'll head out.
Until next time. Can't forget the closing jam.
Yeah, closing jam. Fade to black.
Ooh, start getting hot.